Yeah.
So you were saying that after September 11th, you kind of had bad views about people that had those beliefs because you were young and it's what they show on TV.
Yep, I didn't know any better.
So I would have been one of those people. Because September 11th, I wasn't 18. I graduated high school before I was 18. I was like 16.
Gotcha.
I moved to New York. I was going to SUNY, the State University of New York, and the buildings looked just like the Twin Towers. I was Muslim, and I was black. And actually, I was a stripper too, so don't ask me. You do all kinds of stuff even underage. It's not a good thing. That's another story for another day. But so I lived in a suite. When you're on the campus and you live in a suite, there are 2 rooms, 1 bathroom, and the living area, right?
Okay.
Each room has 2 people.
Okay.
So my roommate was, her father, she was a white girl, and her father was a firefighter. And I was Muslim during 9/11. My suite mates, one was from Bangladesh and one was from India. So it's a black Muslim, a Muslim from Bangladesh, a Christian from India,
A melting pot.
and a Caucasian girl whose father is a firefighter. 9/11.
Yeah, this made this whole thing interesting.
And we all lived together.
At this moment.
At all of that, at that time, we all lived together. And I was supposed to be going to a recording studio on September 11th, 2001. And that recording studio was a block away from the Twin Towers. I overslept.
See.
And I missed my ride.
See, everything happens for a reason.
I guess I probably smoked pot or something and went back to sleep, just being honest. That's what I was doing at the age of high school. Not high school, college. But I probably smoked pot and went back to sleep. Or the night before, whatever. Either way, I was asleep. So I woke up, it was probably about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I saw all of this stuff on TV because I guess my roommate had left the TV on.
It's definitely on y'all stations.
Huh?
It's definitely be on TV in your area.
Yeah, so my roommate had left the TV on, and I was like, what is this? I thought it was a movie.
Because it didn't seem real.
It didn't seem real to me, and I didn't think, I was like, oh, I just,
it's a movie scene of whatever.
Just went back to sleep. So my roommate burst in, and remind you, her father is a firefighter.
He had to go.
And she's panicking.
Because he's
and crying. And I was like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, you don't need to care. That was what you're talking about. Look at this. Look at what you're doing. What the hell? Girl, I missed my ride. I'm sorry. And that's how I'm thinking. Why are you yelling at me? I'm thinking she's talking about the studio that I was supposed to go to because we're roommates, so she knew I had an appointment and I missed it. I thought that's what she was upset with me about. And she said, look at what y'all are doing. Damn. I don't know what you're talking about. So she turned up the TV and I sat up and she kind of woke me out of my fog. And I was looking and her and I sat there and watched it together. She started calling her dad and calling her dad and calling her dad. Then she called her mom. She called her brother. By the time she got to her 3rd or 4th family member, somebody answered. And it's like, yes, he's on his way there. She instantaneously got pissed off at me. And mind you, I hadn't really caught up to this yet.
So
I'm still catching up. I'm in process and I'm shocked and I'm stunned. And it was just very tense. She ended up leaving the room and going to her boyfriend's. And I was okay with that. I knew she didn't really mean it to me. We never got mad at each other. Well, it was just one of those things that she said in the moment, and I think she felt bad about it, like within minutes, realizing that I was
not aware of it at the time.
Way too unaware of what's happening. So I walk out and I go into the suite. My suite mate is in prayer mode. The one that's Muslim, she's in prayer mode, and she grabs my hand and she wants me to pray with her, and she already has her red laid out. So we just start crying. We start praying, and I stopped because I wanted to go see what was actually happening. I get it. Everybody else is caught up. I'm a little. It took me a minute because I'm still like, okay, this can't be real. I start calling home because my brother's in the military at this time, and he's at Fort Drum in New York. And I was like, okay. I start calling people. My phone's not working. There's no signal.
Because probably everybody was on the phone.
There's no signal. My mom's in Texas. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. So we're watching. I called my friend in New York, who is like my sister. She was there too. She was actually on the train with her little brother. She was 16, and her little brother was maybe like 12 or 11. He was 11 going on 12. And she's Muslim. She's in full hijab.
Oh.
I finally got a hold to her that night, but she said she told me that she had to run. And she ended up taking off her hijab because people were throwing things at her, and she didn't really know why. They were on the train, and the train got stuck. So she was having her own experience there, and I was at the college having mine. I finally got through to my friends that I missed the ride with, and they had got stuck in traffic. So they didn't make it either. If I tell you, all things are divine. Because the smoke, the soot, the ash was just like all over the place. It was covered, their car was covered in it because they had got pretty close. They were on the highway, like getting ready to exit into the city. And you could just see the clouds. It was just like this crazy experience. I called my friend Angel. He lived in Brooklyn. I could get a hold of him, and I was like, where are you? Are you safe? And he told me, he said, I'm sitting on the roof of the school. And he was a senior in high school. He was on top of the roof of the high school smoking a blunt, watching the Twin Towers fall. He thought he was tripping. And I'm calling him, going, fool, get off the roof. They blowing everything up. Get off the roof right now. I don't know if downstairs is a better place to be, but I know the roof ain't where you should be right now.
I'll be psyched up myself. I'm looking at this. I'm like,
yeah, and that's what he was like. You know what? It don't look like I can run. So I don't know how long he had been on that roof, but he sat there.
He was like, screw it.
Whatever. And I stayed on the phone with him while the second tower.
So he actually watched the other one in person.
Yeah, he watched it in person. I was on the phone with him watching it on TV, and it was just a crazy moment. And all the things that followed that, all the friendships that broke, all the belief systems that changed. They tried to ban us from wearing hijabs on campus.
You got that bad.
We were having vigils, and it was a bad idea for the Muslims to go, and the school had to put all these sanctions on us, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and it was horrible for everyone involved. My roommate at the time did end up moving out and moving in with her boyfriend because she just had some ideas about me now.
All because of what?
That she didn't have before. Now, her father survived. He actually was outside. He didn't go inside. But all of his friends didn't make it out. The whole country was affected. We knew people that lost people. Multiple countries were affected. The world was affected. And she just didn't look at me the same way anymore. And that was what hurt. Like, we both know I had nothing to do with this, right? We both know I don't know anyone that had anything to do with this, right? We've been living together for a year. Like, we go out, we have fun together. You know all my secrets. And now you don't trust me because of something outside of me.
Outside of control, too. Had nothing to do with it.
And it was just this grand effect on everything for so long. But there are so many lessons in that story
That's I feel like
that I
that's
can't
life.
wait to teach.
That's life in general. Like one thing, even myself, I hate is when stuff happens outside of your own control, had nothing to do with it, and now you're blamed for it.
Right.
She almost here. I mean,
Yeah, he is.
yes.
But it's perfect timing because we recorded that. We got another little clip. You finally got the lights and stuff. You got everything set up. Your camera's good. Yeah, he texted. While I was talking about the Twin Towers, he texted. But there's so many things that we can learn just from not just from 9/11 itself, but just from my interactions with people regarding it. I learned a lot about human psychology and
I feel like,
human nature and friendship
honestly, I feel
and
like
fear.
it's like, you know how I know I'll probably tick off a lot of people when it comes to curriculum in high school, but I really feel like the study of human behavior much more should be a lot more heavier in high school,
It should.
even in middle school, because a lot of the issues we have today are because of miscommunication. We're
Right.
not even just asking, what a person's thought is. It's just a lot of assumptions.
Personal development and individuality should also be pushed in high school or middle school because a lot of the problems that people are having or that adults are having start in those years. So if they knew how to deal with their emotions and their thought processes and they understood why they felt this way, other than telling them, oh, you feel this way because it's puberty.
I feel like society would have grew so much more, and we probably would have a lot less crimes if we had that.
And it's funny that you say that because that's true in different socioeconomic statuses because they teach different. The classes, look at a curriculum in a school that's like a private school versus the public school. Look at the books, look at the education.
That's a whole nother discussion. Battle
But
among
yeah, they will teach you. They teach you taxes and economics and wealth and psychology and all of those things at certain places. It's not general information.
Yeah, because then you have the argument of now it's like dividing people because of their income.
They teach financial literacy at some high schools. It's an actual
See,
class.
now we're talking about stuff I'd be thinking about because I have a lot of.
But not everywhere. They now teach that in Darwin.
Hell no. Because
they might teach it in Heights.
It's a cycle. How you expect people who are in poverty to progress if you leave them or leave pieces of information out? They're going to just continue.
They give them just enough
to be I guess you can be a contributing civilian.
And I can't even say it's race. It started out as race at one point. Now it's socioeconomic status. It's because there's some rural white areas that are poor and they get the same or worse education than we do.
That just makes it even worse because
Like it's not. They do it because we're black. They do it because this is where you can afford to live, so we're gonna keep you there. We're gonna keep you there for generations because we have to have people to do things that you're doing.
I can go on this one because it also then with that, even if you wanted to progress to get better, then the people who are so comfortable with that now look at you differently because not only is he better than us, so it's a problem because I want to actually better my life now, or try to look for newer things. You acting like them, or you think you're better than me. Like, what's wrong with just living here? It's the guilt trip,
Right.
mentality, etc.
I've never been receptive to that. I've experienced it, but typically the first time I experience something like that with someone, they're no longer a part of my life.
That is toxic.
Like, I have family and I have friends of all socioeconomic statuses. I care about the people that I care about being happy. I might want better for you, but if you're happy with where you are, who am I to tell you that you shouldn't? Don't ask me to fix it. If you're happy with it, I expect you to be happy with it. So when your lights get turned off, be happy in the dark.
Some people are.
And some people are. As long as you're good in the dark, I'm fine with you being in the dark.
Don't bother me.
Well, that's not gonna bother me none. It used to, but it doesn't anymore.
Life is interesting.
It is.
Constant journey. I just got to the point where I just go with the flow.
You go with the flow.
I feel like living.
Are you the flow? Are you creating the flow?
See, those are in-depth questions.
Are you creating the flow? Because if you go with the flow, you might be in somebody else's.
Good question. I feel like more in creating.
Good.
My own actions and all that much more create like the pathway.
That's good. Because it's a question that you do have to think about. Because yes, I am creating my flow, but I don't 100% create it by myself. I create my flow as a collective with everyone else, but I guide it to where I want it to be by being the environment.
And also in my head, it's like you don't want to lose track. I feel like you're just living in somebody else's life and not yours. I can be very depressed now thinking about that. What happened?
Because I was watering one flower, I might as well water them all while I'm doing it. I can do it on my phone. I know Simon was at Office Home Depot looking for day workers to help him.
Home Depot.
Whatever, yeah, one of those places that sell things, fix things.
Right.
Help finish building the studio in the garage because his people keep canceling.
Oh, what you got in there?
Oh, you want to see?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be done like 2 weeks ago, but my contractor hasn't been contracting like he should because his team is mean. They've been historically good in the past. Their prison life. Oh, I love that piece. That's new.
Yeah. Yeah. I made it.
You made it?
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. Hello, kitty. Yes, so my favorite song is On the Humble. That was like our go-to song.
I want to see some.
Oh.
Scoot that chair in.
What, this one?
Gallop it over. Sit down. I'm trying to see.
Space everything, right?
You can scoot it back because I know you got the guitar. But what I'm saying, like, let's see. Yes.
Rosalie.
Pretty much good. He's making this. The cat's making a presence.
Because the lights will make you happy.
Oh. He's used to the stage lights.
Mm-hmm. Is what? Thank you. Let's see.
Yeah.
You got it retwisted.
Yeah, I had to come look at it.
I see who retwisted it.
Somebody, I had to,
I love it. You rarely ever get your hair retwisted, so I feel super special. Thank you for that. Thank you. Well, for you. You did that for you. But yeah, I was like, it's gonna be on TV, it's gonna be the people, about at least 20,000 people to look and make sure.
For real. Maybe it's love you keep predicting and watch it. It's love you keep predicting for me.
Brush wrap? Nope.
No, because I'm trying to make it so pale. Because you got a two-piece, right? Because this part's over, right?
Yes.
I seem like clip it, come behind, and kind of come
Like right here?
Yeah.
Inside or out?
This ain't gonna show.
Okay.
But grab this and come up on the end. Not on that part.
Put it.
Yeah, I know. Stylus.
Let me see it.
I got you. I just didn't want to be like,
what are you doing? Just here. Just put the thing.
Gotcha. Alright.
You gotta reach in here and grab it from me.
I got you. I just want to go look. I didn't do anything. Alright, turn back around.
Normally Deanna's here and she has sound and she does all of this first doesn't touch your body.
I mean, I will, but I'm like, look.
I need Deanna. Her son had a fever this morning, so she didn't come.
What are you doing?
Nah. So it's called Soup with the Witch. So what are you sipping? I got tea, I got tequila. Anything from tea to tequila. You know?
Anything from tea to tequila.
Let's be mindful.
You like, I guess I'll do tea.
Sit down or make sure it's comfortable.
It's more than what's on here.
Yeah.
You good? Because I know you got that little part.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright.
Yeah. Does it make you up too? I'm going to interview you and I'm going to ask you different questions about your spirituality, your spiritual beliefs, going from your father's church to the biovibrational scientist that you are. What are you comfortable talking about?
That sounds good so far. Yeah,
Okay.
That sounds good.
Like, I'm not going to ask you about your personal life. It's not that kind of show. I promise I'm not going to get the tea on Yaya.
I'm just trying to get mentally.
Probably easy if you stand up and just clip your pants. And
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to get the tea on Yaya. I'm not going to ask you. I might just to make you uncomfortable with.
Thank you.
So,
I might ask you some personal questions just to, freak you out a bit just for my entertainment. But that's about it.
What you should do is you can sit down and then go under the shirt and clip right here.
Under the shirt.
Because I'm still not doing it.
Yeah.
And Deanna knows no personal space boundaries. She just likes sticking her hand up everybody's shirt. Yeah.
Clipping it right where?
Are you coming up?
Colors.
This is guy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I got it. Like,
I
got you once again. Yeah.
I'm not okay with this right now. This is strange. This is strange.
And then, yeah, you put right there.
I clip it on the chest.
Colin.
Be mindful of his beard, though, and his hair.
This
Because it'll cover it.
I need to be higher.
No, let's see. When we have, should be good as long as better yet. Snug it. Grab. No. You can grab where you clipped it. Pull slim. Pull tight. So I'm still get your focus. There we go.
see.
Hey, any luck?
The shirt.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. We haven't started fully recording yet, so we're here. I'm inside. I just finished recording one segment. I'm gonna start another. The door's unlocked. Well, that door's unlocked too. You can't come say hi. Hi is nice. I know you're tired and cranky, but hi is still nice. You don't want to say hi to me? Okay, fine. Don't say hi to me. I'll see you later. Okay, if you're in asshole mode, I'll leave that energy. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you in a little bit. I appreciate your candidness, sir. Goodbye. I would have it no other way. All right. Okay, I got your hello over the phone. Okay. Bye. Okay. So if you see a big Belizean dude walking around in the back not speaking to people, that's silent. He was like, I don't really feel like saying hi. Okay. Thanks for telling me. You said tea or tequila? I thought I heard tequila, but you know.
Like I said, that was your answer. You want to hear tea.
You know, that's always my answer.
Oh, that's what we sipping in right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna record a preset, which is basically, I want this on camera because it's pretty. And I had too much blank space anyway because I finished off a couple bottles. Some bottles that were sitting up there are now gone. So I needed more space.
She may or may have not drunk enough here.
I may have not. A couple of my sips like Hennessy, so with my guests we drink Hennessy a lot. So those sessions are always fun. He thinks they're funny.
Sip, sip.
I'm gonna turn some hot water on, and I will have tea with Yaya.
These mics pick up everything.
Are you doing the sound testing?
Oh, trust me, I can hear.
I know I don't have to ask you what you're doing, but it's my
I don't know. I'm not even tripping.
and Deanna's not here and Grace isn't here, so I feel like you might need a reminder of stuff. Let me see, what kind of tea? I have every kind of tea that you can possibly think of, I'm just be honest.
It doesn't matter. I'm like, I don't know.
I got you. We'll do a preset.
Question: are you gonna have your?
You'll set this tea on my table.
Oh.
Just set it right there so that I can take the tea when we do preset.
You gonna have your guitar with you the whole time during that?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
Let me test something real quick.
I don't know how she.
I'm gonna test something specifically with you. All right, go ahead and just speak.
You 1, 2, 1, 2.
Do natural movements.
Natural movements.
Like you know.
Oh.
All right, let me see. Let me hear something. That's what I'm catching. I gotta see where I can clip your mic.
What is my beard hitting it?
No, yeah, your beard's hitting it. stand up again.
And our very own little tea containers.
Maybe I can probably try the top color. You good.
You don't mind your collar, he's just not gonna reach his hand up the
Actually,
Yeah, I was like, thank you for that. I appreciate you not. I don't know where my little teaspoons are.
you can work. Just make sure your stick. Yeah, it should be good.
I'm not gonna leave that up there. Remind me not to leave that honey sitting up there because it's not the right time.
Gotcha.
I like Karamuku. You know Karamuku?
Mhm.
I want a jar of her honey to sit there. But I used it all, so she was supposed to come by today. She's not coming. She's supposed to come by today. Because her honey comes straight from the bees. Are we pre-sipping or no?
You're good. Yeah. You don't have to. I know.
Process, it's okay.
I know. Yeah, we should be good.
Is the plastic on the strap moving going to affect the mic?
That's one with the test.
Okay.
Move as you is, like as if you wasn't even worried about it.
Because Jair gets excited.
Yeah, I know that sounds.
Yeah, I got like 2 steps away from being like one of those rock stars that throws his guitar on the ground. Like,
just don't go too.
Excited.
Alright, let me see.
L'Oreal upstairs taking the test. L'Oreal. Yeah, she must be. She said she had a final today. See? Is that me?
Well, your mic is good too. I just put my ear right next to the speaker. Huh?
Did you hear the fuzzy?
Well, that's when it because it's right there.
Okay. Because I wanted to make sure that he could be able to just be 100% his authentic self without trying to worry about the mic.
We're gonna do something different for you. Go ahead and take it off. I'm just gonna have the mic because it has a part, and I'm gonna face it towards him. That way you don't have to worry about it at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want him to have to.
Yeah.
Take the mic off.
Yeah. But it's built with a mic in that part, so I'm just gonna place it right there on your end of the table. You should be good. Yeah, I just want to make sure because I'm like. Have yours wireless.
Okay.
And yours, yeah.
Yeah, mine will be fine.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes I tend to talk low when I'm not paying attention.
Plus, there's a guitar right there.
Yes.
Oh, no trip. All right, now let's we should be good. Do one last little audio check.
Stand sending out, calling all the people here to see the show. Calling for all my demons now to let me go. I need something, give me something wonderful. I believe she won't take me somewhere I'm not supposed to be. And you can't steal the things that God has given me. No more pain, no more shame, misery. You can't take me down. You can't break me down. You can't take me down.
I think that worked effortlessly.
You can't break me down.
It works effortlessly.
Yeah, no issues. Yeah, we good.
What?
And now you don't have to worry about the mic, so you can take your guitar on and off as you please.
Yep. Because you don't have one of the moments to be like,
Well, he wants to take it off. Well, that's hot. So I can do it with my nails. No, I can't.
What happened?
I tried to pick it up out the hot water because,
Oh.
you know,
everything's perfect.
Everything's perfect. Because I came out smart enough not to worry about fingers off.
Oh, that sounded really good. I know you heard you over here. Was that handcrafted?
Yeah.
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 It looked like it too. And I was like, Definitely not something you just see in the store. That someone took their time to make that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Tips.
So I'm gonna have tons on this one video. You had your whole story with September 11th, the sips, his warm up from playing the guitar.
Because we have to create the promos for it anyway. So we do a lot of recording when we're not recording to create promos for the episode.
Oh.
Do comprende más?
See?
That's as far as I would go to.
See?
I think my daughter throws away all of my phones. Like I can't find one.
The plastic one.
A plastic one, regular. Like I have those foods in my house.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm that kind of person. The plastic stuff. I'm that person.
But what?
I'm the person that like, why you putting the plastic spoon? I'm that person.
You let me somebody go plastic spoon at this point. So it don't look like I have any. What's your current favorite song, yeah?
My what?
Your favorite song?
Oh, just period in general? That's what you're talking about, or just talking about my favorite song currently, right now, just period?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I had a slow moment and I thought just period was the name of your favorite song. I wonder why I had never heard it.
Is that why you had to
That's why I was
the
like,
silence? Yeah.
I know that one.
Wow.
Yeah, so many.
Yeah.
This phone will have to do. It's an alcohol phone. I have plenty of those. So, I'm allergic to turmeric, so somebody has to drink it.
Favorite song right now?
Okay.
My playlist. So, what I've been rocking lately.
What about J. Cole?
J. Cole.
No.
I haven't been. No, I haven't been listening to J. Cole.
He just released the album too.
Did he?
Yeah, that's all. You know, he's always.
You know he was playing in. He's playing professional right now in basketball.
No.
Yep, he is.
Are you crying because you went in there?
It's the African.
The African League?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, J. Cole was playing it.
Who knew?
It shocked me when I saw the article. I'm like, J. Cole? He's the Jermaine.
Listen to a lot of different teams.
I might let you out. Maybe. Here's your honey if you want to. Come on. You like the music? You don't want ginger turmeric tea. Every time he hears me open a can, he thinks it might be catnip. So
Playing with his emotion.
you was ready to see him. Citrus. Spice black chai. That's perfect.
Alright, this is what we're doing now? Okay.
Did he knock over your camera?
No, I gotta reset this thing.
Oh, I saw him head that way. I know you don't have as many hands to like push the cat away now. Because my cat does cause problems from time to time. So yes, you're gonna talk to me about, I'm probably gonna ask you about narcissism and all the classes that you teach. Study group. It's a class, but okay, study group. So, huh? Give me your titles, all of them.
His Divine Supreme.
Look, trust me,
well,
I'm gonna make you sound as amazing as you are.
Very bad. Disciple, one of them.
See, I didn't know whether it was still disciple or whether it was Acharya now because you teach classes.
Yeah,
like you teach at you do jhanas.
Right.
So I didn't know if there was
No,
it's disciple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disciple.
Disciple of biovibrational science or just disciple?
Yeah, just disciple.
That would actually be an interesting title, huh?
I'm sure I was a student of the science.
Okay.
Because I'm learning just the way.
I'll always be a student though. Majority is still a student, all students. Did you tell them you were coming? Did you tell them you were coming?
I told I think I mentioned it to my sister.
And this is what marketing does. The entire reason why I have that big ass expensive box of tea is because it was on Oprah's favorite things list. And I wanted to see what it was like. If it was really worth the amount you pay for it. That's marketing though. That's like, oh, Oprah liked it. Let me see what this is about. I tend to like things she likes. Perfectly dark.
How many songs?
How many songs you want to do? I think probably like 2 or 3. Like if we're having a conversation and you feel like one applies, just let it apply. Like there's no, I don't do a lot of structure because I like for my guests to be their authentic selves. So whatever that means for you, if I didn't like who you authentically were, I wouldn't have invited you here.
So, in their house.
Right, no, because I have other people that I want to record with, but I can't do it until that's finished being done. Because I don't want anybody in my house. So, you know that. You think it's so funny, like there's some pastors and the moms, great people. We got recorded me, I'm gonna say it.
Alright, come to the studio for a session.
Yeah, you come in here. We even gonna fix the pickets on the fence just so it look nice when you walk in. But you gonna walk in here. Chris, you see anything out of order? Normal, and I do miss having another person because I don't get up this much.
But we're gonna make it work though.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell her no more child sickness. I'm not gonna tell her that because she feel bad.
Don gonna do it in our face.
She just bring my perfectionist kicks in. Isn't she nice? I brought her back from Mexico.
Who's she? Who is she?
Santa Marta.
Santa Marta. Saint of Death.
Hand made it. Very, very pretty.
We're pretty much ready to go. Did
Ready
you
to
want to
go?
write? What do you want? Did you want to ripe your?
Okay, I'm gonna have to leave the door cracked, so we're not seeing any of this, right? Because if I don't, he's gonna keep doing that thing.
Yep, and then you
Where
can
he
take
goes and closes it and opens it.
you can take a look too, because I know
You know,
that.
okay, you know. Let me. It's off center. Turn it more towards y'all. No.
I was trying to.
Okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying not to get the wall edge. Okay. That's better. And you forgot to tell me about my shoes.
Oh.
Okay, you behave. No nonsense, okay? None of that crazy cat stuff. Go to sleep. Go take a day nap. Please. And yes, I still talk to my cat like he is my husband. I understand. Go take a nap. Yes, I'm busy. Go take a nap.
Damn, I don't know how I would take that. Like,
because you need a nap. You do it too much. Go take a nap.
I'll be stuck. I'll be like, did she
and
just?
I never understood why my grandmother used to say it to my grandfather. That's why I get it from. But you just need to go take a nap. Like something I don't know what's going on with you.
I'll just be stuck. I'll just be like,
you need some rest.
I look like I need some rest.
He just go take a nap. It's not like she was saying anything bad. You just you know, you feel like you need some rest. You need anything else? I like it. So we're starting pre-sip with the witch, pre-sip with Yaya, John the Baptist. Huh?
No beat.
Oh.
It's just John Baptist.
John Baptist.
John Baptist, either or.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about. So you were telling me all of your, huh? You keep it. It's brand. I use them with my teas. When I make my teas, when I sell them, I put one in there.
Oh.
So I have to.
Oh, I can keep this one?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Got real.
Lord have mercy.
That was brand new specifically for Yaya.
Oh, that's what's up.
You even have that turmeric tea that'll kill me if I forget.
Lord have mercy.
Because I'm allergic to turmeric. Huh?
For real?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm allergic to turmeric. I don't eat that in my life.
I mean, for real, I can have it.
Yes.
I trust that you're allergic to it.
I didn't know I was allergic to it, so one day I did like a turmeric facial.
Oh, bust your face up.
Horrible.
You swole up?
No, like I had acne for like 3 months.
Lord have mercy.
And I never had it before.
Wow.
So I thought I had an allergy to turmeric.
Let me see what you got going on over here.
Let
Let me see your ankle.
Let me check it out. Let me see. Make sure you get it right.
Yeah, right. You get on the good side, other side.
Check the lighting real quick.
Yeah, let me see what's going on.
And that is why you need to go take a nap.
Yeah.
You're doing too much. Take a nap.
Everything is up to specs and code.
All right.
Okay. Let me check the perimeter.
That's
I always want to do those videos of just like the
talking to some the talking animal.
This is one dude. He is hilarious. With that Tony Baker.
Yes.
He is hilarious. Well, he just, I don't know.
So, titles: Disciple, John Baptist, Yaya, Ascended Master. Who else are you?
I am.
Okay. That would be what I would say too, so I can't. It's hard to dig deeper when that would be my answer. That would be the answer that I give. I think that's the answer I gave yesterday when somebody asked me the same question.
Well, yeah,
I am. Whatever that means at that time. I am. Okay. So, in pre-sip, we just kind of. So, okay, pre-sip. Your music. Play me a piece, a snippet of one of your favorite songs for pre-sip.
One of my favorite songs
from you.
My favorite song.
Yes. A recording artist.
Yes.
That's a thing. That's a title.
That is. I'm an artist, period. So, I'm an artist. Paint.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. And also, it's a crafts. I do some crafts as well.
So,
some simple jewelry making.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
What about martial arts too?
Yeah. Is this recording right now?
Everything's pre-sip.
Everything.
This isn't the show. Pre-sip is just us talking vibing. We'll just things that we can reshape and use as like promos if we need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like later on down the line, if like let's say Yaya blows up and we need beginning, you know what I mean? This is just like information that's talking to you, getting to know you, so that when we do go into the interview, you're extremely comfortable because we've already gotten over the awkward part. Okay. That's why we do pre-sip, so that there is no awkwardness, no nervousness. Everybody just kind of flows right into it. It's been effective thus far.
How many have you had so far?
think you're number 9.
That's a beautiful thing.
I think you're number 9.
That's what's up.
I started in Mexico, and this is season 1.
Yes.
This is season 1, and when we're done, I have to have a minimum of 13 episodes for season 1.
Good. Bring that a little bit closer to you.
Bring it closer to me.
Yeah, because you have that.
That's okay. Oh, yeah, he has this soft tone, too.
Yeah.
He does. He has this
I'm still picking you up, but you go into like this.
He has this.
I do that too sometimes.
It's like mellow lion. It's like a mellow lion. It's not like a lion. It's like a mellow lion.
Yeah, like Spirit Mufasa.
Yes. Why be scarred when you can be Spirit Mufasa? He was cooler dead. He was cooler dead than his brother was alive. Like,
it's extremely hilarious. And when you're pissed off because he'd be like, did I mess up? No, you fucked up, right?
Yes.
That's why. It's just like,
you fucked that up. You messed that up good. You messed that up good. So we got to make sure we catch all the Spirit Mufasa sounds. Yes. Have all the ladies just like replaying it.
Hashtag.
The Spirit Mufasa.
You gave him a whole handle now. You done messed up. You're going to change his Instagram, just changed. Twitter.
Yes, receive all of that.
The Spirit.
So, which song has Appreciate Love in it? Because right after I heard that in 2015, that quickly became one of my favorite words.
Oh wow, that's great.
And I use it all the time. I say Appreciate Love regularly.
Love Revolution.
Okay, that's why you thought it was my favorite song.
Yeah, someone said Love Revolution. I knew that's my favorite song too. Yeah, Love Revolution. I appreciate Love.
Okay.
I was thinking, you like, when one of your favorite songs? It's like, it's different moments, different days.
Okay.
Something would be my favorite and everything. But
on this day, what is your favorite Yaya song?
Well, since I'm strumming Love Revolution, that's one of my favorite ones. Revolution is definitely one of my favorite ones. I have a song that's not on guitar called I Am That. That is
it's like freestyle?
It's a rap. It's on Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah, you ever heard it?
No.
Oh my goodness. You want to hear it real quick?
Yes.
I don't know.
You can do
my phone.
Where's your phone?
It's right here.
It's on Spotify. I have Spotify.
You have Spotify?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And this is why Precept is helpful, because I found out useful information just now.
Yeah, Spirit Mufasa.
Look, you sound like, oh yes.
Use that hashtag.
We're gonna hashtag this Spirit Mufasa. The post part of it and put it up. Go listen to Spirit Mufasa. I'm gonna share this too, by the way.
Should that be a tag there?
Oh, you won't play it? Yeah, premium?
Nope.
Oh, it's only gonna play. Oh,
yeah.
It's right there.
Normally it plays a song before I get to the song I want because I don't have. Get down.
Look, I'm just over here checking stuff, man. Look.
He is just sitting down on the back of your chair.
Look.
You know that, right?
He's like, I ain't bothering nobody. I don't know why you bugging.
Okay. And he used the spirit Mufasa's voice. See?
You should use it as an ad-lib.
We're gonna make a song called Spirit Mufasa.
Now trending on all social media. You're blasting the heck out of that mic. Yeah. So you're blasting the heck out of that mic.
What?
You're
Blasting the mic.
I'm bouncing it?
You're blasting.
Oh, well, because I wanted them to hear the song.
Oh, they can hear.
Okay. I was trying to make sure that everybody heard what I was hearing.
This cat is smart. He literally pushed the.
I do. He gonna be whispering that all throughout the day now. He gonna be saying that when you leave. Planet Spirit
We can laugh and watch that go viral.
I'll make a TikTok. We'll use this song. I'll make a TikTok and do a Spirit Mufasa. We'll probably just use this, the little I am that.
And then time to write like I am.
Right. Make some kind of weird, funny TikTok. You probably use that right there. Who are you? What's your name?
Why do I see him on stage? Like he can be the most hyped song ever. He's just. And then you kind of, I'm digging that you kind of start getting to something super hype, but you just vibe with the beat and just flow.
That was my father on that.
Saying that?
Yeah. I sound
Oh, do you care if I make that viral?
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Well.
You can come up. We're recording.
That is super catchy.
Okay. Yes. Get ready. Get your life together. Come up here and talk to me.
All together.
Okay. Love you. I'm going to interview my mother on what it's like having the ThGood Witch as a daughter and going to church and being in that environment as much as she is, because she is probably my biggest fan. She told me I don't gotta like what you do. I like that you like what you do. So that goes a long way. So okay, so I'm gonna ask you about I Am That. We're gonna talk about your father's song because we're gonna talk about that anyway. And since now you've told me you sampled that for this, it ties it all together. So precept successful. Information gathered. Titles are together. Okay. Are we stopping and restarting a different one?
Oh, we good.
Just keep it going?
Yeah. Because I don't want to end this.
How long are the episodes?
Between an hour and an hour 30 minutes. And that's not counting. We do a pre-sip, and for some cases we do it after the sip. That's mostly when I'm drinking Hennessy though. But because we need it afterwards.
Well, yeah, after the sip, now, man, get that damn tea away from me.
Give me some Hennessy.
Oh, excuse me. Get that goddamn tea away from me.
Just put a Hennessy in the tea. Look, we ran out of Kahlua. These people were drinking coffee and tea with Kahlua. I ran out of Kahlua. I gotta go buy some water. Okay, Chris, tell me when you're ready for his intro. How I look? Is everything straight?
We're good.
Lorea, I need your eyes. Chris has man eyes. Yeah, because no, like when I asked you, this was tucked right here. That had to be up, and these are things that I will notice.
Gotcha.
Like if there's a hair out of place, I will notice because you'll have me with like a wild hair somewhere.
That's definitely
that you think is normal. That's why I need a female eye. Nothing. It's you're a man, so it's very nice that you have man eyes. I need your thoughts. I need you to come look and tell me if anything's out of place.
Hey, how are you?
Don't look so bothered. She look bothered. Did I bother you?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oma's on her way.
Everything looks good. Do you want to get his whole guitar? Or just no?
If I do, I get more of the
doorway?
Yeah.
Should we pull the table more forward and slide the chairs more in?
You can. Let's see what that does.
What do you think, Ray?
No, you can't really see the table.
So we can pull it up some?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's better.
Yeah. Rosalie pretty.
Rosalie, that's the guitar. Rosalie is gorgeous.
Good.
Right.
Cool. Hair straight, lip gloss, face. She's normally my MUA, but she was taking this hit, so I had to do it myself. And I've gotten lazy lately. I don't want to do it. She spoiled me now to her doing my makeup.
Okay. You did a good job.
I didn't do as good as she would have done.
You put on the matte lipstick?
No.
You need to.
Well, that just... I can't argue.
I don't even know what she said.
Matte lipstick is what I said.
Oh.
No, that's not even. That's on my whole thing. I moved it off the table.
Are you talking about the we picked up? That was all.
Yeah, it's over here. Better? See? Oh. But he was like, "You're pretty." I was like, "No, you need my daughter." We're checks and balances on here. She makes sure we're good. Legs low. Legs low. Low.
Okay.
What?
I got some hair now.
What are you doing up there?
Watching Bad Girls Club.
She had that moment like I could lie, but I
can't
know.
lie. She's gonna know I'm lying.
You know, I just want to be honest. I was watching this.
Make sure everything's straight before Omar gets here. Well, no, because I gotta record, so just go. Normally she'd have to wash out with glasses and stuff before my mom gets here. But I can't record and have her do it. Okay.
Cool.
Can you see the top of the table?
It's just the top part. The top part, like the cups.
You
And
can see
like,
the cups and the lace?
yeah. You green?
Okay, we're green. Hello.
No, I was asking that.
Huh?
I was gonna count it down.
Oh.
I was just like, "Are you green?" Then I was gonna hit the record.
Okay, ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, 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 all, and welcome to Sip with the Witch. Today we have an amazing guest. Not only an amazing guest, but an amazing man. He is a disciple. He is a teacher of life. He is an artist of many forms. He is the great I am. He goes by John Baptist or Yaya. You can find him on Spotify. You can find him on YouTube, Instagram, almost every platform. SoundCloud?
I think so,
Yes. He has been creating and recording and inspiring for many, many years and has a very extensive background in different religions, cultures, belief systems, and growing through them all. Please welcome Yaya.
Thank you, thank you.
And the crowd goes wild.
That introduction, I started looking at somebody else coming. I said, who's over there coming? Somebody.
Well, the introduction is 100% true because if I ask you, who are you?
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No.
Yes, okay. Oh, and Miss Rosalie.
Oh, it's Rosalie. Forget Rosalie. See, why didn't you brought me all out here going to do this, Rosalie?
How'd she get her name?
It was like I went through a couple of names with her, but I was like, nah, those just weren't clicking. And Rosalie was a name I know I wanted to. It just kept like popping up. I was like, okay, then it must be Rosalie. Then must be Rosalie.
Okay.
Yep, Rosalie and the other Claudette and Bernadine. So, those are other guitars.
When I hear Bernadine, I think of Waiting to Exhale.
Wait, to exhale.
She said everybody's stuff on fire.
Oh,
Angela Bassett was Bernadine.
That
was her name.
Wow.
11 years. That one.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
She was upset.
Yeah, she was upset. So
And rightfully
$1.
She was upset and rightfully so.
Yes.
Must sell all your shit for $1. I don't even care about your money. I just don't want it in my house. You gotta go.
Yeah. For $1. Yeah.
You're selling these skis for $1? $1. Everything was gone.
Right.
The car. She can have it $5.
Here go $50. I'm just about to pick stuff.
Let's just get a truck. I'll be back. I need a sale like that. We need to run into a sale like that one.
For real.
So I'm glad
Yes.
her name's not Bernadine.
Right.
Or Bernadette. Bernadette.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your background.
I from Houston. H-Town. Yes. I'm the son of a fifth generation Baptist minister. Mother's a teacher. Grew up in I would say it was it was a conscious household. Like the first time I heard the words Africa and things of that nature were at home. Like, they had artifacts and things like that from Africa. It had been, my father had traveled to Africa, and so I was able to, and he was also the first black football player in the Southwest Conference, which is
Okay.
fun. Yes.
So he was man, big man like you.
Yeah, ran for lieutenant.
So you are your father's son in full stature.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So just the consciousness of like just black consciousness was around being the first black, just that type of
right.
First black. What's the significance of that? Growing up in the 70s,
right?
You start to. So it was it was very intellectual, read a dictionary. You know, you can't ask your mother how to spell anything.
You have to look it up.
Right, that type of.
And she's a teacher, so she was
teacher,
not.
Yes, church all the time. You know.
So, being the son of a fifth generational Baptist preacher,
Mm-hmm.
were you supposed to be generation number 6?
I am.
You are generation number 6.
Yes. It's just not so much of a Baptist ministry, but I have been ordained. So I am a 6th generation minister.
Okay.
We're just not in the.
We just lost the Baptist part.
I see it. Yes. Now it's just more so. I teach. I teach at the Center of Bio-Vibrational Science. I'm a disciple at the Center of Bio-Vibrational Science, and we focus on energy perception.
Okay.
And dealing with energy. Energy is at the basis of everything. So, you know, even the situations you have, some of the challenges you may face, and all of those, it's really energy based.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of take the people and the places and the things out of it, and look at what the underlying energy is. What energy is this? What emotion? What feeling is this provoking? What thoughts am I having? And that could be, you know, positive and negative, or functional and dysfunctional. So
I like that better.
yeah, functional and dysfunctional.
Functional and dysfunctional.
Yes.
Works much better than positive and negative
Right,
phrases.
right. Because you need a negative, like you gotta have a negative charge for stuff to work. As far
Right.
as like, yeah, so a negative ain't
doesn't
really
mean
bad. Right, negative doesn't mean bad. So yeah, functional or dysfunctional.
That's,
So.
I'm gonna incorporate that into my vocabulary more so, because I've used it before, but it's not a term that I use frequently.
Yes.
So I'm gonna incorporate that more so into my descriptions versus positive and negative, functional versus dysfunctional, because all things are situational.
Yes.
So
Yep, everything's situation and circumstance. So
what's functional for this situation might not be functional for the next situation, but that doesn't mean it never has a function.
right.
I like that. I like
Right.
the cyclic nature of that. Everything has a function in its place.
Yes, what's functional on a full moon may not be functional on a new moon.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's, if I could speak your language of your
Yes.
Bruja language and
Yes.
your ritualistic language, and you know we do rituals as well, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's everything that's it's natural. It's something, you know, we've been doing for since the beginning of time, but you know, like we were saying, what's good on a functional, what's functional on a new moon may not be functional on a full moon or a waxing moon.
Right.
You know, yeah, season and reason.
So operating in more of an energy level
Mm-hmm.
than, I guess, a Baptist level. I don't want to, you know. So, because here we talk about the positivity of things. We understand that some things have negative connotations and negative ideas, but we want to bring out the good in everything because we have more in common than we do different.
Mm-hmm.
What was difficult, or was there anything that was difficult in changing from that Baptist view to a scientific or bio-vibrational scientific view?
No, it wasn't. Because the way it happened for me, my father transitioned when I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the foundation was set. But by the time I was, you know, preteens and into my teen years, hip hop was coming, just starting to thrive and everything. So you start hearing Farrakhan, and because you start getting into Public Enemy, you know what I mean? And KRS-One, and we had a whole it was a whole movement in hip hop where hip hop was just really about the community and all of those things. So you start to like, okay, and now you got different people from different backgrounds. A lot of those rappers were 5%ers, 5% Nation. So you start hearing like, you know, what's the math, God? And you start hearing different lingo, and you want to start learning more about it and get into your college years, and so you start to study different ideologies. So from
Were you ever a 5%er? Were you ever a 5%er?
I was not, but I studied. It's like I studied with them.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? I studied with them. I was with the Nation of Islam. I never joined the Nation of Islam,
Okay.
but I studied things from their perspective, looking at Christianity. So that made me look at the Bible a little bit differently,
Mm-hmm.
and it just gave me a different perspective. So I just began to be like, I just want to know the truth.
Right.
And that just began my prayer. My prayer was to know the truth. I just want to know the truth. I don't know about this Jesus name and all of that, but I just want to know the truth. So that just set my journey and just, different schools of thought and stuff, and just began to read more.
I understand studying with someone. I was never a true Hebrew Israelite, but I studied with them for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I understood the text, and I learned the language, and I did all of those things to make sure that I had a better understanding. So I completely understand that. So how was that for you? So your father transitioned when you were 10. Nope, you didn't get a lot of resistance from your family in the knowledge that you were gaining and passing said knowledge on to them.
No, because it came a lot later, and also me being the only boy. I have three sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I was influential, and they were just like, oh, what is it? And it came on slowly, but like I said, it was a conscious household.
Right, and his
So
sisters are scientists as well.
Right, and so we were like progressive thinkers. It's just like we just come from a line of progressive thinkers, people that just did things differently. So it didn't take a whole lot. You know what I mean? But everybody has their own path.
Right.
And everybody has their own timing. So everybody, it wasn't, it wasn't my mother's supporter.
Yes.
And everything.
I've been a student at the center for a while, and I met your mother. She's beautiful, like the sweetest lady.
Yeah.
Quiet, from what I could tell, but I know mothers are often different when they're home.
Yeah.
And she's this tiny little petite lady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he will bow to her every time.
Right.
She's all of what, 5'3", 5'4"?
Something like that. Yeah. I think she's about 5'1" right now.
Okay. I gave her too many inches. She's 5'1". Okay. And he will bow to her every time. Mothers have a way of making us do that.
Yes, indeed.
So what would you say some of the similarities are from a more energetic from a disciple view versus a Baptist view? What are some of the similarities? What are some of your continued beliefs?
With the ancient text, it's the similarity is this text. We use like different ancient texts and everything, but the difference is the perspective. So, like to say, I'm a jealous God. I will serve there will be no other God before me. You being a goddess, I myself being a god.
Mm-hmm.
I am a jealous God. I won't serve any other God before I serve myself. Meaning that it's for me to take care of myself first.
I can't snap loud.
Right, before I take care of somebody else, I got to serve myself first, as opposed to being a suffering servant and just being like, oh, the servants of pools and so forth. You get your greater, you'll get your pie and the greater by and by, and all of them.
Not the by and by.
Right, the greater by and by.
Well, I gotta go up yonder. Look.
Yeah, that was my favorite song back then.
No, they haven't lately, and I really don't want to answer this question.
Yeah,
I had to sing that song at a friend's funeral.
Oh, wow.
I was in high school, and he was in high school. And they had our youth choir sing Going Up Yonder. To be with my Lord.
Yes. That was one of my favorite songs growing up.
And me too, but looking at the lyrics.
Right. Yeah.
Looking at the lyrics. When I took the time to break down the lyrics to some of my favorite old school church songs,
Mm-hmm.
it made me second guess a lot of the stuff I was taught. Because, I come from one of those old. Doesn't mean I don't still love the songs, because other than the words, there's an energy and a vibration in the songs that you can learn something from. The tones, is something in the tones that, even though the words are not functional for most life purposes, the tone and the energy behind it is one of progress often. Like, one of my favorite ones was, my daughter knows it, and it's hilarious because she has no reason to know this song. There's a leak in this old building, and my soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. It's, it, it's a leak.
Why you stop?
Yeah, and the song is like, this old building keeps on creaking, y'all, and my soul has got to move to a building not made by man's hands. Right? And the song is literally talking about my life, my body is falling apart so much that I just gotta die. Like, it hurt, my bones creaking.
Right.
It's heavy right now. My emotions are out.
Right.
I'm stressed.
Right. And that's
the pain. You know what? Rather than fix myself.
See, and the thing about those lyrics, as I'm listening to you, it's from the perspective of, this is what life has done to me. And it's like, when you live from the perspective of, okay, I'm just going to wait to see what life gives me, and I'm responding or reacting to things that are happening to me in my environment, instead of setting the environment, or instead of setting the intention, and then like, okay, well, this is how I am. I'm going to set my vibration. I'm going to set my frequency and allow things in nature and in the environment that match that frequency to come to me. Right. You know what I mean? And so she's being worn down by these outward things, when the power isn't from out there. It's from
right. And from a place where she hadn't become a creator yet. Because they hadn't woken up to the point to where I can create. And a lot of old school religions, not just Christianity. I didn't say Christianity. I didn't say Baptist. I said religions, collectively, didn't often teach you that you could create. That I am the I am. That when, like you said, when I will put no other God before me, that's me seeing you as a God, me seeing you as a God, me seeing me as a God. This God comes first and can serve you afterwards. They can teach that. It was coming from an external source. So all I could do with that external source is the best that I could do. And I gotta go. Rather than deal with this, I'm just, this building keep on leaking, y'all. I got to move. Take me home. Jesus, I'm ready. Come on now. Look, it's been 34 years.
Right.
That's nonsense. You ain't ready for me yet.
Right. I know I ain't worthy.
I know.
If you did, and I will, Lord. Please.
I'm a rich.
I was tired. Yeah.
I'm a rich.
Yeah. I'm not worthy of the glory of your name.
And we are dispelling and disbanding all of those belief systems.
Yeah.
We don't think negatively of, I don't think negatively of any religion, of any practice that is making each person individually a better person. But I do think oftentimes we let those practices stop their growth because they find that sweet spot. And then they get content. So now that I believe this, can't believe anything else. We forget to stay a student.
Yes.
We forget to stay a student. So you learn Muslim, you learn Islam, and you learn Christianity. At that any point, you just stopped. You know what I mean? If you wouldn't have continued learning, you'd be stuck right there in a leaky building, waiting on Jesus to come pick you up because
Going on to the old rugged cross.
to the old rugged cross. I can't even get a smooth one. Lord, why I gotta get splinters? Why it gotta be rugged? In today's technology, with all these picket fences, I gotta have a rugged cross. Can I get a smooth one? Sand it. Sand it a little bit. I need And they gave us these phrases. We all have our crosses to bear and our dresses to wear. So this is normal. It's supposed to hurt. And they taught us that with so many things. Love is supposed to hurt. Religion is supposed to hurt. All of the stuff is supposed to hurt. Death is supposed to hurt. Because you feel like you're losing something. They teach you death is loss. Because you got to die till the rapture come back. Sometimes it depends on your belief system. So I don't know where you go in between time and in the meantime. But for now, just lay there and don't cry. Not understanding, giving us the science with it, that energy isn't created or destroyed. Because when you talked about your father, you said he transitioned. You didn't say he died. Right. Because you understand that it's a different process. And they didn't teach that. They did not. I think we teach it more widely now. Hopefully, I haven't really been to a whole lot of, churches in the woods lately. But you know what? I think to it. It's a good idea. Chris, we're going to some churches. Okay. Chris is protection. Chris is going to take us to churches and we go. Try not to get put out. Right. he said, I'm going to try not to get put out.
I'm like.
I don't know that lady.
I'm sorry. He gave me this camera and it took off.
Chris wouldn't be stranded. Chris would be the getaway driver. But I would never do anything disrespectful. It would just be curiosity based because I'm curious now as to if that process has gotten any better. This conversation has sparked that curiosity. Okay. So I asked you about the similarities, some belief systems that you kept with you in science. So in bio-vibrational science, being a disciple, do you still believe in Jesus? Do you still believe in heaven? What are the things that we kept?
Turn. I think you may have accidentally hit.
This one?
No, I think you may have accidentally turned it off.
Oh no. How long ago?
Hold on. You can keep recording. Just pick up that question. Let me check.
Well, let's make sure.
Yeah. Because I know it's a huge drop in your audio.
Uh-oh. How long ago? Just now?
Yeah, just now.
Okay. That's because when I sit back, I didn't think it was going to sit. So I'll sit up. I just have to remember to sit up.
We're good.
I just pressed the button to turn it back on. But I'll try to remember not to sit back. Ready? At least you had a chance to think about the question. Because that's what you're thinking about. Huh? Yes. No comments in. So you want me to start back with asking the question?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I asked you earlier about the similarities in being a disciple of bio-vibrational science and learning all the things that you've learned, connecting them to your past of your father being a 5th generational Baptist preacher and all of the lessons and gifts that you gained from that experience. Which ones carried over? Like Jesus, did that carry God? Did that carry heaven, Satan? Any of that? What carried?
I think the main thing that carried over was just a spiritual foundation, as opposed to more of a religious foundation. So now it's, through my readings and learnings, you're like, okay, well, Jesus, if that Jesus existed, it was really Yahshua, and these things. So you look at the scriptures in historical context or esoteric, or cultural context, and so now it's just more. I look at it more esoterically.
So, first question: Who is Joshua?
Yahshua was the name. Jesus was like Jesus is a Latin word. So Jesus is the name. Jesus is the name that they gave to the Yahshua. His name would have been Yahshua.
Right, because I won't take for granted that everyone watching knows.
Yahshua, yes, that would be Jesus of the scripture.
Yes.
Of the ancient text.
And when you say esoteric, what do we mean?
I mean, like a deeper meaning. Okay. For instance, if you look at, like, we don't look at we don't deal with like a devil or Satan. Like that's the ego.
Okay.
So when we look at it in biblically, if the ego in the beginning in Genesis was a snake in the garden, by the time it reached Revelation, it grew into a dragon. So the ego has been growing.
Okay.
And the dragon at the end is waiting to consume the birth or to consume the child of the pregnant woman.
Right.
And we're saying that that's your purpose. Like Yeshua or Jesus is really divine mind or your purpose. And Mary, his mother, is like the subconscious and the purpose.
So in science,
yes.
You turn the Bible into the body.
Yeah, in essence, or no, or we
like just the general body, even the body we can't see when we're talking about the subconscious mind, the mind, the ego.
Yes. The disciples, we like the 12 tribes of mind. Those are different. All of these are just different aspects of yourself that was told in a way that you can that you can find your way back to your purpose or to your source.
Okay, so overstanding.
Okay.
The disciples, the 12 disciples of the Bible.
Yes.
Would be considered the 12 signs of
the 12 tribes of mind.
The 12 tribes of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Satan would be considered
the ego.
The ego.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because you think when Yeshua was in the wilderness, he was being tested by pretty much his ego. His ego was telling him, "Look, you can have all of this.
Right.
You don't want this, but you don't want this. You can have all of this." So it's just this is the same thing. Your ego will sit there and tell you as you go throughout the day, like, "Hey man, why not do it? You can have all of that, man. Go and get it. Ain't nobody. Oh, you won't let them call you that. You gonna let the man call you scared, and you ain't gonna do nothing." A lot of people do things out of their ego, and it's just that little thing on the left shoulder or whatever, left and right. But you know what I'm saying? It's just that's how we.
I hear you, Rosalie. We're gonna let you talk to me. So, and you said Mary would have been the
subconscious mind. Or the heart.
Okay. Okay. And that would have made Jesus the
purpose.
The purpose.
Your purpose, your divine purpose. Divine mind. Yeah.
Isn't this a beautiful science, y'all? Just take those few things, because so far that's only 15 people in the entire Bible that we've named, including 12 disciples and 3 of a few of the main characters, and they all have a body. They all have a place in you. Think of that. If we could apply that, if more people applied that level of care and love to themselves, if they just applied that level of love to themselves, the Bible would come to life so often in so many people.
Yeah. Because in the Yeshua said that all the things I've done, you can do and more and greater things.
And greater.
So to let us know that that's not the figure to be worshipped or to be looked at like that's the destination. It's like you can do all this and even more.
Right.
So
So you can go past what I did.
Right.
Look at what I did and it's great, but I'm showing you what I did so you can do better.
Right.
Like, you know, parents always want their children to do better than they did.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be doing a hell of a lot more than what we're doing. That's what he just said.
Mm-hmm.
In so many words.
Yes, and we
Off
can
your ass and on your feet. That's what I said.
Yeah, we can reach levels of consciousness that, you know, he reached a Christ level of consciousness.
Yes.
You know, it was a regular person, man, and you reached a Christ level of consciousness. That's the journey that we should all be on, to expand consciousness, and that's how we expand our energy.
So when you have conversations with or dealings with Christian people or Muslim people, how do those conversations go for you? As far as the Virgin Mary, Christ, because you know they're going to bring it up, because a lot of times people focus on those things rather than the message that those things give. How do you deal with that?
I do my best to meet people where they are, and so I listen. I do more listening. You know, I want to hear, like, you know, what's your understanding of what it is you believe in, and it just sometimes some people are more perceptive or more receptive and ready at a point where they're ready to receive more and everything. So it just really, it varies, and it depends. Some people have always had questions, and you know, you can tell by their questioning, you know, what it is that they may be, where they are consciously, or what they may be thinking about. You know, so it varies a great deal, but I do my best to meet them where they are and not to be judgmental or insulting.
Does that work well?
Yeah.
So what do you do when you have those people that are judgmental and condescending towards you? Because we all have that.
I mean, that's just where they are.
Okay.
It's like,
because
you know, it's they don't understand. I mean, like, you know,
you're an understanding God.
I mean, it's just like, you know, hey, choose your battles. Why fight that battle? It's just like, you know what I mean? You know, you talk to your cat, but you can't, you know, your cat sometimes be like, man, I'm a cat. This is what I do.
My cat never says I'm a cat.
Oh.
Dan said would never.
Oh.
He can come in a little bit just to check
you
on that.
Yeah, he gonna be like, look here, man.
Dan is my familiar, and he's perfect.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
There it is.
And I have a strange relationship with my cat. Y'all look. Y'all seen him?
Right. And so if you were to have a conversation with someone who just looked at it as just being a cat, it would be a different level of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they wouldn't be able to understand, like, it's just a cat, just give them some good and everything, but you can just see it as a different energy level, and it's not against them because they just don't know.
Right.
So
I don't expect them to.
Right. So it's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that.
So you remove the expectation from people that you speak to have the same understanding of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I just said that. Like what I just said about Venice not being a cat, and you're like, you would never say
he would never.
Cat. Yeah. You didn't get mad at me.
No.
And like curse me out. Like, what you mean you don't cat? You didn't see the connection.
You don't see this?
Right. Right.
Did you not see him open doors?
Right.
He is a gentleman.
Yeah. And I didn't take offense to your correction.
Right.
So it's just like where you are, and it's just like, okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I respect that because it's a different energy.
And also, I do think that because your energy is what it is, you keep a lot of those negative people away from you.
Mm-hmm.
You repel them.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we draw to us the things that we are, and you are positivity that way. So you don't draw in a lot of people that have a lot of that negative energy, that feisty, I want to fight energy. Would I be correct in saying that? Okay.
Yes. Yes. I witness very little fights. It either happens right before I come or right after I leave. Yeah, and all that stuff is, I'm grateful.
And look at him. He's massive, so it would be like people look like somebody to challenge if they're just in that energy.
Yeah.
Or somebody not to challenge if they're small and in that energy.
Yeah.
You look like somebody they might want to test. Just like, let's see.
Try Jesus.
Don't try Yaya, try Jesus. We'll get a shirt. Try Jesus, not Spirit Mufasa. Oh, speaking of Spirit Mufasa, I would like to hear Yaya has this very sexy, like sultry singing voice, but he says spiritual things, so it throws you off. Like you're like, okay, but wait, we talking about that's not what he said. Wait a minute, come back. That's not what he said. He's Spirit Mufasa. He's Spirit Mufasa, not 10 kindergartens. Got it. Look at it.
Come here, woman.
I don't think he has a song that yells "Come here, woman" at all. Turn him off. Like that's not.
But even Teddy in that though, he even soft on you too. He was like, turn off the lights. At night again, no real soldier.
She took too long.
Yeah. You got time to wait and start the shower, start to get cold. Like, hold on.
Okay.
That's funny.
So, what does Rosalie feel like singing?
You said you wanted to just, well.
I know what my favorite song is. I've been a fan of Yaya since about 2014 or 2015. So, one of his albums I had stayed on repeat for at least like 4 months. Like I never took it out of my CD player. Like it just stayed there. And my daughter liked it, my family, everybody that would come in would of course hear it because it never came off. And they all loved everything and it was very, very popular. I was in the center one day and I'd never like the whole center he just stopped and everybody else kept going.
Yes, thank you for that. And as see that album she's talking about is called The Now Revolution, a Love Revolution, The Now Testament. I'm sorry,
You got the name.
The Now Testament. See, it's The Now Testament, A Love Revolution. And,
he's very fluid with names. We talked about that earlier with Rosalie. Names are fluid. Things are fluid.
And that's so I can play.
Can we find that anywhere?
It's been on all streaming services. It's under John Baptist, one word, no spaces between John and Baptist, and The Now Testament of the Revolution.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's Spotify, iTunes, all in Google Music, I get all in.
Okay. I want you to play whatever you want to play first. And then I'm going to make a special request just for me.
Okay. I'll play.
And he's also a freestyle artist, so he will stop in the middle of a song and just do a whole nother something else that nobody's ever heard before. Because you'll think you know the words. Like, nope, not doing that no more. This is what we're doing now. And it's always amazing.
Thank you. I need to get you on my PR team. This is Love Revolution.
Love Revolution. Okay. I'm going to try not to sing with you because I want you to be your thing. Might be a little background.
Yay. Oh, yay. Yeah.
girl, mom, child.
If I give you reason to doubt my love, I'm sure we could reason it out, my love. Fear causes confusion, so don't jump to conclusions. We're in a love revolution, love revelation. Why and I and you a love celebration, love revolution, love revelation. Why and I and you a love celebration. If I left room for reason to doubt your mind, I'm sure we could reason it out in your time. I'm not in a hurry, I'm in no rush. We can take on the whole world, just the two of us. In a love revolution, love revelation. Oh, I and I and you a love celebration, love revolution, love revelation. Oh, I and you, that's my meditation. Yeah, I've been through enough war to find a peace to love you. My day not start till I greet and hug you. I feel the earth shake when I reach to touch you. Let me take all the stars, place them each above you. And they ask of angels, make me teach them of you. Show the whole world I appreciate love you. Straight, yeah. I'm your soldier in a love revolution, love revelation. Oh, I and you a love celebration, love revolution, love revelation. Oh, I and you a love celebration. Never a season of doubt in our life. I'm sure we could reason it out. Alright. The truth is our sword, and love is our shield. Hatred and fear die on the battlefield. In a love revolution, love revelation, love revolution, love revelation, love revolution, love revelation, love revolution, love revelation, love revolution, love revelation. Yes, I and you, we can save the nation.
Wow! Somebody give me some panties.
Oh, Lord.
The one and only. Back in H-Town.
Somebody give me some panties. I gotta grow.
In a stadium full of 80,000 people. The one and only.
We must throw panties. And panties back there. Spirit Mufasa. Spirit Mufasa. And y'all, we'll let y'all in on the joke. Spirit Mufasa, we talked about in Preset. It might be in one of the blooper reels or something where we figured out his sound. He didn't really need a microphone attached to him because his voice is low, but it's deep. It's not like a lion. It's a calm lion, like Spirit Mufasa, calm lion. It's not like grr. It's like grr. It's not a roar. It's a roar. Thank you so much for that. That like bliss, and y'all know I know most of the words, so you know I'm not lying when I say I listen to the album on repeat. Even someone who has never heard the song that's recording with singing along, just because you can't help who doesn't want to be involved in a love revolution. Right. Who doesn't need that? And if you listen to the words of the song, the relationship advice is just, it's a lot. Not only do I love, but I appreciate you. I appreciate love you because you can love me and not appreciate me, and therefore it doesn't show. So if I appreciate you, I'm going to show you that. So love you can feel, and some people don't know how to express love, but they do know how to express appreciation. They'll show gratitude for someone who gives them a gift. They'll show gratitude for a job, but sometimes they can't show gratitude to the person that they love. So loving someone and appreciating them are just as equally as important because no one wants to be unappreciated in a relationship. If you will work it out, what was it in Jai time?
Yeah, we're reasoning out. Yeah.
Give me that phrase.
There's ever if I left room for there's ever
reason to doubt.
If I left room for reason to doubt in your mind, I'm sure we could reason it out in Jah time. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a rush. We could take on the whole world, just the two of us.
Like in just that one lyric, you could save marriages. If that's not a scripture, it should be, because it's taking full responsibility. If I gave you any reason to doubt, it's not saying I didn't try. There's no defense. It's a completely vulnerable line to where I'm saying I don't know if I did, but maybe because of the situation that we're in, if I did something, I apologize and we can figure it out. Yeah. And we don't have to do, you don't have to do it alone, and we don't have to do it right now. If you need time, I can give you that. Like there's so much advice coming from that, and I'm just gonna call it, there's so much advice coming from that particular scripture of song. If I give you any reason to doubt in your mind, you have no control over what's in someone else's mind, but if there was anything I could have done, that's what I took from that when I heard the song. If there's anything I could have done to ease your mind, and I didn't do that, let me fix it.
Yes.
And we can do that in God's time.
Yes.
So even if we don't do it today because you just need a moment, I'm going to give you that moment because you're a God too, and you're allowed to make that choice. Yes. You respect the I am in her as you would respect the I am in yourself in that one scripture of song. And there's so many of those in the song, in all of your songs, actually. Like, if you broke down your songs the way we break down, like, Flight of the Narcissist, imagine the revelations that people would get just simply from Love Revolution. Yeah. If you broke those lyrics down into the scriptures that they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I listen to songs, when I listen to music, I listen to words. Because words matter. Yes, I love a good eat. I love all of those things. But I love words because I'm a writer. So the words matter to me. Unless I'm just listening to it for the beat, like, you know, but at that point, you can just turn off the words and play the beat. You can listen to an instrumental. Like with his, you could turn off the beat and listen to the words.
Wow, thank you. Yeah.
It's true. Like if you could sing, or you could sing those exact same words with no guitar. You just did it a cappella with your guitar. So you dropped the guitar, you were just saying these words.
Yeah.
Imagine the weight that the words hold on their own.
Yeah.
And we need that more in music now. Than we don't have a lot of that. We have a few out there that are doing a great job. I appreciate J. Cole. I appreciate D Smoke. Ciroc has always been amazing. Nellum has always been great. There are some people. Toby, Princess Nokia. There's always been some. But the weight that your words hold with the scientific aspects of it that I don't even think sometimes like just the God in you implants it there for people. It just simply happens.
Yeah, like I've been through enough war to find the peace to love you.
Right.
Yeah, it's a statement in itself. Yeah.
It is. That's just
so many wars and battles just to reach a peace where you're able to love.
You have to.
Your mind. Yeah.
You find enough in peace is not something that you're willing to negotiate on.
That's it.
I love you and we're gonna have peace.
Yeah.
That's it. We just gonna work it out. We ain't gotta do it today if you man, but we gonna do it in God's time. So I suggest you get ready for this revolution.
Right.
Because this is what's happening in God's time. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
There is one. We're gonna go back to our interview, but since I have Rosalie going, there is one, at least part of it,
Okay.
on the humble.
All right.
It's his club song, y'all. It's a complete different vibe.
Yeah, 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Well, a minute. Switch my battery. I don't want to lose my power. You want them? Don't You want them?
Oh,
That camera's going.
Oh, that camera's going.
Yeah,
You want
this one is always going. This one is a live stream.
Okay. Am I do the song anyway?
Oh no, we're gonna wait till we get his up because that camera is. This can all be cut and edited out that way. But what he does with that one is focus in and out. I do want to talk about narcissism a little bit, and I think On the Humble will lead us to that.
So you want to end with the song?
No.
Oh, this way it's sounding when you just said it. I thought you were ending out like that.
No, I meant lead us into the discussion on narcissism. What is something that you are, what's like your favorite subject to teach? Insight and the spirituality will be your favorite thing to teach about. What's one of those classes that you teach that you just enjoy teaching? That you get passionate about and everybody else kind of lights up when y'all talk about it. What's one of those? Everything.
On the humble.
I'm ready.
Hold on.
He'll count us in before he starts recording. And we'll crop this one. Okay, ready? Yeah, they'll edit all of the stuff that we're recording.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
And we are going to talk about a couple of other things. Narcissism, the book, The Flight of the Narcissist, a little bit more on bio-vibrational science and its teachings, because you do teach a study group on bio-vibrational science. But before we do, I do have one more request of you and Rosalie, and that would be one of my all-time favorite songs from John Baptist, aka my Yaya. We will do, I would like for him to do On the Humble.
Yes. Humble.
Like my daughter at however old she was, this is how she learned that God was a woman. Just so you know. Just in case y'all didn't know. Yeah, I said it. Like,
Yeah. Get ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm gonna jump on. Yeah, all right. On the humble, make your whole empire crumble on the humble. Me and the wicked gonna rumble on the humble. Real bad boys moving silence. Now I whisper, now I mumble. Make them mumble, oh tumble on the humble. No need for arrogance. Meek, the earth is my inheritance. I speak, get lifted by what's spoken. Crowd soaked in baptism, spirits broken, souls mended. Learn to take light and bend it, to cut stone and build pyramids for my kindred. Anything I say, I defend it. Yin and yang blended. The breath, the change is long-winded. Books recommended. Thought sharp and splendid. Every light to shine, got a face dark to end it. The eyes are the windows to the soul, some are tinted. Sometimes lifelines on highways are segmented. The physical body is only so it's rented. You get a contract, but didn't I get extended? At times the agreement is verbal and I print it. You realize you said it, but you never really meant it. Nevertheless, you gotta live to represent it or resent it and spend your days tormented. And when you get the call, you fumble, turn over. The lamb of the field is the lion of the jungle on the humble. I'm represented. This food for thought, leisure diet supplemented. Reality suspended. Expelled by the superintendent. African descendant. John is astringent. High strengthened. Whether or not my life's lengthened, I still plant the seeds for the thoughts that you're thinking. I got the sun, I got the water. If you're fertile, we'll grow and run the human race like that turtle on the humble. Make your whole empire crumble on the humble. Me and the wicked one rumble on the humble. Real bad boys moving silence. Now I whisper, now I mumble. Make them bumble, whole tumble on the humble. Truth be told, God is a woman.
Yep.
My vibe is so strong that you can hear me humming. Your collective self-conscious had me summoned. To those who've been waiting, I'm that good thing coming. Medea, make MC bold for prayer. You see me? Southern Sound System soothsayer. And overnight, you were overcome by this oversight. It's overdue, not over you. It's over mics, over the years of expansion and contraction. At this moment, supreme reaction becomes action. Put rappers into my gravitational pull. Appetites and appetite to insatiable. It's a subsisting, self-fueling desire. Ignited and back burners become brush fire in the jungle. Where the lion roared when he rumbled. Turn over, now Babylon system guans tumble on the humble. Make your whole empire crumble on the humble. Me and the wicked I rumble on the humble. Real bad boys moving silence. Now I whisper, now I mumble. Make them bumble, whole tumble on the humble.
y'all hear that song? We need some more panties, y'all. We need some more panties. Well, Bibles or something. I don't know. Something else. Somebody check the Quran. Give me something else. Don't hit him with the Quran. Just Torah maybe, but not the Quran.
Throwing frankincense and myrrh.
Yes.
Incense
Close your eyes, it'll hurt. You get a whole bunch of shells. Take your shells out my eye.
Cowrie shell. That's funny.
So thank you so much for that.
Yes.
So what inspired that song? What does that song mean to you?
On the humble?
Yes.
It's just like it's just the way like the thing is. It's just happening. Like it's just gonna be real. It's not coming like it's just on the humble. It's like think of like a bamboo when you plant a bamboo. Like bamboo really grows humbly. Like on the humble, like the first 5 years of a bamboo's growth, it doesn't even break the ground. It grows down and out. But after it breaks the earth, like in the next few months, it grows like 8 feet.
That's
so
deep.
or like 80 feet or something like crazy amount of growth within a few months after breaking the earth. So it's like.
But it took 5 years to dig.
Right. So because it wanted to support the growth, but you don't see those 5 years. So it's like really on the humble.
So you think
like
nothing's happening, but you're actually,
you see
you're
it.
I see it. Yes.
And you just it's like you just walk around the whole empire just gonna be crumbling, and you gonna feel like how did it happen all of a sudden? Nah, it's been happening for a minute. It's just been on the humble. You ain't see it because it wasn't in your face. Like I'm doing it to your empire. Nah, it's just on the humble.
Okay.
That's how
I love it.
on the humble.
That's how you come in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and the wicked I go rumble on the humble.
Okay.
Real bad boys move in silence.
They do. They do. I think Lil Wayne said they move in silence like lasagna. Real G's move in silence like lasagna.
Exactly. Growth happens in silence.
It does. I tell people that all the time. Before you can learn to be loud, you have to learn to be quiet.
Yeah. People grow when they sleep.
You grow in your sleep. You grow in your meditation.
Mm-hmm.
You grow when you sit with yourself. Sometimes just in silence.
Right.
Sometimes and they don't even realize it's meditation. But when you're sitting with yourself in that silence, that's one of the truest forms of meditation that there is, because it's just you. It's not intentional. And sometimes I catch myself doing it. Sometimes just sitting in a room with nothing on, and I'm not intentionally meditating, but you just sit. I just want to sit. When you relax, your body rebuilds itself. All those cells have that time to regenerate. You get the time to get that good breath, that's true breathing in, even without realizing that you're doing it. And that growth happens. Like people say, you come from people, they just popped up out of nowhere. Nah. They was doing the work in silence. They've been building this for years. You know how we see buildings, that building just popped up. Nah. Somebody had to do that planning. Somebody had to get that, all the supplies. Somebody had to do that architecture. Somebody had to do that paperwork. You didn't see what was happening.
Yes.
But next thing you know, it's a skyscraper.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Gotta love it.
Yes.
Gotta love it. Like I said, he just spits scriptures, y'all. What's your favorite verse in that song?
On the humble? Probably favorite verse, probably the first part of it. Like the first verse. Well, it's really like a really long first verse. It's like a little break, but it's really like that first part of the first verse, yeah.
What is that?
Well, like I start talking about like, you know, the breath of change is long-winded.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of, hold on, let me go through it real quick. It's my inheritance. I speak it lifted by one spoken, crowds soaked in baptism, spirits broken, souls mended. I learned to take light and bend it, to cut stone and build pyramids for my kindred. Anything I say, I defend it. Yin and yang blended. The breath of change is long-winded. Books recommended. Thought sharp and splendid. Every light that shines got a face dark to end it. The eyes are the windows to the soul, but some are tinted. Sometimes lifelines on highways. are segmented. The physical body is on lease or is rented, and you get a contract, but it now get extended. And at times, the agreement is verbal, it's not printed. And you realize you said it, but you never really meant it. And nevertheless, you gotta live to represent it or resent it and spend your days tormented. And when you get the call, you fumble, turn over. It's when the lamb of the field becomes the lion of the jungle on the humble.
Yes.
I'm a vessel. Heaven sent it. This food for thought leaves your diet supplemented. Reality suspended. Expelled by the superintendent. African descended. John is astringent. I strengthen. My lives don't have to lengthen. Still plant the seeds for the thoughts that you're thinking. I got the sun. I got the water. So if you're fertile, we'll grow and run the human race like that turtle on the humble. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, I don't even have to break down those verses, those scriptures, because if you listen to it and you took the time to say it, you had to catch. You got to listen to that like 3-4 times to catch all of it. I personally apparently had to listen to it for like a month to catch all of it because there's so much content in every line. Yeah, and it's true. Take the lights and bend it to build pyramids. For my kindred, how else could you do it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, how else could you do it? And it's not like just random rhyming words. There is a message and a thought and a truth in every single syllable. And we appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, thank you. I'm glad you listened.
Yes. Yeah. I told you I like words.
Yes, thank you. Awesome.
And so when my daughter, I often talk about her, heard, okay, God is a woman, the way that made sense to her, it made immediate sense. And she explained it. I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
You remember the explanation?
Yeah. Yep.
That if you cut open any fruit, or any food, any fruit, anything that grows from a tree, it looks like a vagina. Makes sense to me.
It's coming from a child.
That's coming from a child. Yeah. If you break open an orange, look at it. Just saying. You cut open a pear. If you cut open a watermelon. If you name a fruit, cut open a mango. Truth be told. And I mean organic fruit, not the kind, not the cloned ones. The natural ones that don't all look identical. If you even cut open a banana, when you look at a not cloned fruit, then you get it from like not America, like it looks different on the inside, and you could see the woman in it. Life comes from womb. She understood that as a child. God creates. So. And so Yaya pointed it out in his song, and it automatically triggered that thought. So yes, you do plant the seeds for the thoughts that we're thinking. Yes, it all works out together. So in your classes, when you teach at the center, you teach a study group. You go over a book called The Flight of the Narcissist.
Yeah, yes.
And I have been blessed enough to be a member of that class quite a few times. And it's always an amazing class. Could you talk to me about the narcissistic scale?
Okay, well, in the study group, first, study group I teach at the Center of Foundational Science. At one point, we were studying a book called The Flight of the Narcissist, written by Acharya Asar Selassie Natiru.
Who was amazing, by the way, and we're going to try to get him on the show at least by next season. So.
Yes, yes, yes. And he's written about 4 or 5 really great books.
I know I have 3.
Yes, and he has the latest one is crazy.
Okay, I don't have the latest one.
It's
I have
called
3.
Biovibrational Science. It's like
I have one called Biovibrational Science.
not this one. I think this one came out maybe last year.
Okay. No, I don't have anything
Yeah,
as of last year.
Yes.
But I know I have 3. I have 3 of his books, and they were all amazing.
And it can be found on the website biovibrationalscience.com. So what we were doing at that time, when we were reading the book, The Flight of the Narcissist, and in that book, he has he gives 30 traits of a narcissist, and if you have 10 or more traits, then you are it's like you are a narcissist. And it's just, and I don't have the book with me. I don't know all of the traits.
I probably do somewhere.
Right, but and it was just like, because the narcissism is, we say like the ego created narcissism in order to keep this world, their society moving because of the pain and thing that, it's crazy. But in that book, those 30 traits, you got 10 or more, you just like, boom, a narcissist. And it helped a lot of people because a lot of us have dealt with, and continue to deal with narcissists, and we don't know that that's what it is.
Right.
And the thing about narcissism is a narcissist, they don't realize they're narcissists because they don't think nothing wrong with them. And so you have to learn how to maneuver around them, how to deal with them on an energy level to kind of neutralize what it is that they're like, the chaos and everything they may be stirring in you and everything. So yeah, that Flight of the Narcissist, that was something else. It's a great book. You should check it out. Go to the website, check it out and everything. Now, the study group, every Sunday, he gives a jhana, which is the wisdom teaching. And we live stream now from the website, www.biovibrationalscience.com. You can live stream our services on Sundays at 10 a.m. Central Time. And I also play on Sundays, so you can hear me every Sunday play something. Man may do a hot cover or, something. I got people got their favorites. I just, all right. So you see Rosalie every Sunday. And so now study group is
that was that 6th generation came out.
And our study group is based on the jhana that was given on that Sunday. We have study group on Mondays, and we just kind of go back over the message and just kind of digest it a little bit more, break down certain aspects of it, and just take it in. So we just have a nice little time. We're breaking those things down. Yeah.
If I ask you like the pillars, like not the pillars, but the rules of biovibrational science, how you say them every Sunday, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't like that, yes.
Okay. That's why I asked.
Yeah,
Before I asked.
yeah.
That's what I was like, wait a minute.
So I said the website. I ain't doing none of that.
That's why I was like, let me ask him.
Yeah,
Cool
we have a student hand guide, and it has.
Yeah, I have all of that stuff, but I don't want to pull it out.
Right. So yeah.
Okay. So if we could pull out one major thing about biovibrational science, not even one major thing, what do you think are the most important aspects that people take away from us today regarding biovibrational science and knowledge of self, or knowledge of the science?
That is, it's energy based. Everything is really based on energy. So it's like you have to when you take when you remove the person, place, or thing from something that's happening to you, and look at it based on the energy, it's easier to deal with, and then you don't. It can bring about better relationships between people because you're not looking at somebody as if they're hurting you, they're doing something to you. It's an energy, it's an energy that's moving, that's using that purpose to that person, that place or that thing, that situation and circumstance to put you in a certain frequency. And that frequency is it's a low vibration a lot of times. You know, we don't operate out of fear, shame, guilt, all of those lower vibrations. We operate with the promise. The ancient text says that God didn't give you the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love, power, and a sound mind. Right. So,
I know it too, yeah.
yes, right. So if that's what was given to us, then that's our first nature. Our first nature is love, power, and a sound mind. Power being dominion, like dominion over the forces, dominion over when you do your rituals and you invoke certain energies and certain forces to help you and to assist you and to guide you. That's part of that power that was given you. With that, yes. So that, and then the sound mind being the science. You know, being able to see things energetically and reason with things energetically. It's like even Yeshua or Jesus couldn't do healing, perform miracles in certain places because of the energy of that place, the frequency of that place. He couldn't do it. He was like,
thought about that, but that's right. I
can't do no healing here. Look at the energy of this place. It's just like going to try to heal the sick at a pork, you know what I mean, at a barbecue spot that's just eating nothing but pork and all kind of stuff that's not good for you.
I'm gonna go heal all the hypertension at the rib shack.
Man, you gonna go through a lot.
You're gonna go through a lot, and they gonna get it again as soon as you leave.
Right, because there's some mentality. It's like,
they gonna be like, "Who ain't got hypertension no more? Give me that extra set of ribs."
Right.
No, okay, well.
Let me get that rib tail right there. What kind of sauce is that? Yeah, so it's that kind of thing. It's an energy based perception, and we move according to vibration and feeling, and the speed of feeling is faster than the speed of thought, and the speed of thought is faster than the speed of light, and the speed of light is faster than the speed of sound. So that is a manifestation.
So we're looking at the speed of feeling being the fastest. So watch how you let yourself feel. We talked about that. Let's watch how we feel, because that's the quickest thing we put out.
Because you walk into a room, you get a feeling first. You can get a feeling about something, a bad vibe, a good vibe. You get a feeling about something. You can get a feeling
on the way there
before you even reach. You see what I'm saying? So the feeling comes first. The speed of feeling is fast. So that's one thing that we tend to focus on and to do our best. The practice of, because it takes practice, and it's good to have a practice or assignment. The practice is to remain in those higher vibrations, in those higher frequencies of love and gratitude and joy and things of those natures, because it has great creative power, just as the lower vibrations do. But it's just about, what are you creating? Are you creating your heaven, or are you creating your...
Right. We did an abundance conference yesterday. And I was talking to the people that were on this conference, and we were talking about abundance. Abundance being a frequency, a vibration. But just like there is positive and negative of everything, because you need that. I can be on a high abundance frequency. How do you know? Abundance frequency. Abundance doesn't necessarily mean all good things. All things in life are abundant. A pain is abundant. Love is abundant.
Yes.
So which level of abundance are we going to focus on? Because either way, you're going to be on one of them. I choose love.
Right.
And if you stay on that type of vibration, you'll stay on that level of things that keeps you on that higher end of that scale, of that vibrational scale. But once you decide, well, I'm going to have this money, wealth, abundance frequency that I'm on, and this anger vibration that I'm on, this abundant anger vibration, that doesn't really coincide. You're gonna stay on the humble, digging those roots until you coincide those things so that you can break through the ground. And people don't. It's hard for a lot of people to, choose to stay at all times, almost in all levels. at that higher frequency. They want this higher frequency here, but I want to keep this low vibrational stuff down here.
Can't.
And you can't.
And the world is
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
So it's choice.
Exactly.
You're going to be in a couple circles.
Right. And, you know,
Round and round.
Society is geared, or the social fantasy is geared towards keeping you in those low vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are beings that exist outside of our spectrum of sight.
Right.
And some of them feed off of your negative energy or your bad or your low vibration. They feed all that. It's like Krispy Kreme with the hot light on when they see somebody in a bad mood. There's somebody over there, they feel it down. They make me be worried. That's good. You know, and they just eat those lower vibrations up, so they want to keep certain circumstances, situations in that vibration. But the key to what you were saying is that the nature of the universe is increase.
Absolutely.
That's the nature of the universe. So what is it?
And whether you increase in negativity or positivity, you're increasing.
That's your choice. That's your free will, and that's your choice, because the universe is going to expand regardless. And so that's the nature of it, expansion. If you're focused on that pain is going to expand, and you're going to experience a pain that may have only should have happened for a couple of days, no more than a week. Now you got lifetime. Now it's chronic pain. Now it's something that's chronic.
I'm thinking about it all the time, and I choose to do it, and I'm dwelling on it. Not saying that it doesn't hurt, like it's not. No, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on it not hurting, do those things that need to be done to ensure that I can minimize this pain as much as possible, and then not dwell on it as much.
Right.
Because when you dwell on something, when you dwell on something negatively, you're not going to take action to fix it. If I dwell on my finances in a negative light all the time, I'm going to be sitting there and I'm going to be depressed and I'm broke.
Yeah, and that depression is just going to lead to, it just feeds that vicious cycle.
It's
I think the disconnect, I think one of the disconnects is that people feel like being positive all the time means absence of challenge, but it doesn't. It's just like remaining in positivity doesn't mean that you won't be challenged by some way. I mean, resistance is how we all get stronger. You know, when you're lifting weights, it's the resistance that's building the muscle. You know what I mean? You got to bend your knees if you're going to take flight. Any bird that takes flight has to bend its knees first. So even that bamboo, it's resistance pushing through. The earth is resisting its growth, but it has to push through. Same way with the lotus and the lilies that grow through the mud and the water and all these things. Yay, lilies. My favorite flower. So yes, with you're gonna have resistance. You're gonna have resistance, but resistance makes you stronger. Resistance makes you stronger, and just people spiritually or energetically just give into the resistance instead of building a spiritual muscle and you practicing that and you building it. It's like you building that muscle, so when you do have challenges, it's just like it's easier to deal with. 4 ounces of positive energy can ward off 1,000 pounds of negative energy. So you just become that. Just let it go. And it just blows by you. It doesn't affect you. It affects everybody else.
Right.
And should you be, you ain't mad? No. Should you be mad? And you just like, no, I'm not mad. But it don't make you angry? It don't make you want to, nah, what's that gonna do?
And people also need to understand that just because you're not angry about something, you're not upset, doesn't mean you don't care.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you're not passionate.
Yeah,
it means I want to think this through logically. If I decide that my energy can stop a tank, it can. And I don't have to be angry to do it.
You do not.
I can stop a tank very calmly.
Yes.
And people think you have to be angry to stop it. No.
No.
It'll stop faster if I'm calm. It'll stop faster if I'm one with it. It'll stop faster if I'm one with the ground beneath it and the air that moves it. It'll stop faster for me. You can throw rocks at it all day long. I'm going to stand here. And it'll stop for me because I become one with it, everything in it, and everything around it. So how can it kill itself? And when they see that, they think it means either you're crazy or you don't care about anything. No, it's not the case at all. I probably care more than most because I care enough to control myself. I care enough to maintain my vibration. in order to make that change.
Mhm.
And people don't see that. And they don't understand it.
Yes, because that's just going to grow from those lower vibrations, but more of what you.
But more of the same.
Right.
Pain begets more pain.
Yes.
Just like love begets more love.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you said something when you were talking a few moments ago about beings that are outside of our sight. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, we have a spectrum of light that we're able to see, and it's pretty much the rainbow or the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
It's that spectrum from that red to that violet that we're able to see, but that spectrum is way broader than that.
People don't
So
know that.
you have so it's
There's
like
way more than
those
9.
lights. You're right. So it's like those colors are different frequencies. Those colors are different frequencies. The red, the violet, those are different frequencies. So you got other frequencies that are lower that we can't see. You got higher ones that we can't see. Cats perceive things at a higher frequency and different frequencies than humans, so they see stuff. So it's normal to have. It's normal to see a bruja with a cat. That's like that's
It's
the
a thing.
Yeah. Right. And you always see like quote unquote witches with black cats because black cats got a lot of power. It's like they.
And people often think that they're bad luck, and it's
They're
never
not.
that they were bad luck.
Right.
They've never been bad luck.
It's never been bad luck, and the thing is just
They're perceptive.
Right. They're very perceptive. And when your enemies write your narrative, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
They write your narrative, and now you become a bad thing.
Now
something to be feared.
Now the darkness is bad.
Right.
But from the dark comes the light.
Comes the light, and we've always used our relationship with nature and the forces and the ancestors and the Orisha and all of those things to assist us when we need them. And it's how we overcame in Haiti.
Right.
In a lot of battles throughout the Caribbean and
because
Africa.
we used it to overcome, now it's negative.
Right.
We used it to overcome, so now, that's evil.
Mm-hmm. So those are those beings and forces that we're talking about. You got something that's on the higher end that we can't see. And they always around me.
Yeah.
I walk with them when we walk.
We walk together.
Right, yeah.
We don't stand in this thing. We're going to push on through.
Exactly.
You see them, you see me.
Right.
You see me, you see them. You see them before you see me, because they walked in to make sure I was good and gave me that feeling.
You know what I'm saying? So when you come, and you feel like you're just dealing with me,
try Jesus.
Try Jesus. Because the moment you thought about
trying me,
I'm the universe itself.
Try the wrong. You
I thought you was already defeated. Well, sensei. Yeah, so yes indeed.
I have one more question for you, and I'm so gonna let you go, but I enjoy talking to you so much.
Yeah, man.
This piece that you're wearing.
Oh yes, right.
This divinity all right here.
Oh, thank you.
Explain this to us.
This I made this, and I was just at a crystal store and saw this labradorite, and it was like it just looked like the head of a nut. It was just like.
So for y'all that's wondering, it's a labradorite.
Yes, a labradorite stone, and it was just like I should be the head of a nut, and I was just like, how am I gonna make that happen? So I just over some time and thinking about it, and with I was like, okay, I could use a piece of selenite because sometimes you have selenite that come in sticks. I see one over there. Like,
oh yes.
Yes. So selenite, they sell them in sticks. So I was like, oh, selenite would be a nice little cross piece, and then I used black tourmaline and labradorite beads to make up the rest of the body and wrapped it in some copper and stuff.
Do you know what they mean?
The labradorite, the selenite, and black tourmaline.
Yes.
I
just the
I know that I know selenite is good for evoking positive energy and clearing energy. Black tourmaline is also good for repelling negative energy and stuff and psychic attack and things of that nature. And labradorite is also good. I cannot recall exactly its properties, but but it's a high vibration stone, and
And sometimes
yeah.
when you know, you just know.
When you just when you know, you just know. And then I got these mala beads made by Nala, and they
What are
very-
the beads for?
mala beads are for like when you're doing your mantras.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a mantra and you count 108. It's 108 beads.
That
So
looks
you
like
can
way
count.
more than 108, but maybe
But
it's
it
the
is.
size.
It's 108. Yes, it's the size of
Okay.
whatever, because
That's like mine
they're
not
probably
that
like
long.
10. Right. Yes, I think it's just
You doing yours
like,
twice. Look at you doing yours twice. Mine not that long.
Yeah. So, yes, indeed. This is just Joy, just part of our let's say what's the word, spiritual technology.
Yes.
You know, things that we use to help ground us, help remind us of our spirituality. So we may have some amethyst and some super 7 and Pishu bracelets and everything, mantras and African jade.
What's the
hematite.
significance of 108?
You know, I'm not sure what the significance of 108 is, but the significance of frequency is the more you say something, the more you like. Frequency is not only a vibrational level, but it's also how many times you do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's one and the same. So the more you do something, the more you create that vibration, or the more you're on that field. So that's what I.
Okay. When I was in China and I was with the Taoists for a while,
Mhm.
and they believe that the number 108 is their reincarnation number.
Okay, that's not.
It's their completion cycle.
Oh,
So that's their significance.
yeah.
And I'm sure, like, all things are one. So the fact that that's a part of your technology.
Yes.
And it's their belief system. If you look up the number 108, it has its place in most religions and in most spiritual practices.
Yes.
They use it for specific purposes.
Right.
Each practice has a different purpose for it. In Hoodoo, there's another purpose for it. But the Taoists also have a purpose for the same number.
180 equals
So,
9 too.
Yes.
So that's that vibration, 369. So yeah, that's.
So the
that's
numerology,
great.
it's all technology, it's all science. All of it is oneness. If you look at the Bible verses and the chapters and you put the numbers together, you can figure out a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Just based on one number. Pick a number and find the similarities of it in different spiritual practices. And you'll just something simple as a number, you'll see the similarities that we all have in common.
Yes.
You'll find similarities that we all have in common.
Many similarities. Yes. The eightfold path, or like when dealing with yoga, and then the 8 trigrams of the I Ching. And it's all over. Our disciple Kafeli, our naturopath, he says it's a complete science and it's on one thing.
It is.
So it's like it's everywhere. And our Jaya said that we hid our chi in different places. We hid energy.
I've heard her say that.
So we don't.
We're going back to pick up our chi and our energy that we
so,
left as a people. We planted seeds in different areas to hide it, so we go back and pick it up later. So our ancestors guide us back to those things in which we place.
Right, and especially if we use energy-based perception to find it.
Right.
And I don't reject it because it comes from another country or some
Absolutely.
another belief system. Is it functional or is it dysfunctional?
Absolutely.
Does it work or does it not work? Does calling out to Yimi Ya and Shango, does it work for you? Is it functional?
Is it functional for you?
All right. You know what I mean? You lighting candles every day. Is that functional? Is that a part? Are you chanting? Are you praying? Are you holding mantras? It's like
Right. At the same time, is going to the priest functional for you?
right.
If it is functional for you at that point, then do that.
Yeah.
Is going to the altar and falling on your face and crying before God, is that functional for you?
Right.
If it's functional for you, then you should do that.
Mm.
Function changes with every growth.
Yeah, with evolution. Yeah,
So in order for it to continue to function, in order for me or people to continue to function, we have to grow because we have to change. So you can't stay in the same cycle of any system
Yes.
forever because unless you remember to maintain that studentship.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remain a student no matter what your religious practice, no matter what your spiritual belief system. Maintaining that studentship, maintaining that ability to learn and be taught and never knowing everything about anything
Absolutely.
allows you to continue to grow and evolve.
Absolutely.
That's when you fall into dysfunction, no matter what you're in. Whether it's bio-vibrational science, whether it's Wiccan, whether it's Catholic, whether it's Islamic, if you fall out of that ability to learn, that ability to be taught, the ability, the wanting of knowledge, the hunger for it. When you lose that, you lose out on your next level. And the people that are following you, that you don't even know are following you, are losing out at the same time. Because you're stagnant, so they become stagnant. So being a disciple and being a teacher, I know you've always maintained that studentship. So how do you express that to other people that they need to stay in that energy?
So I let them know it's the process, process and the practice. You don't have a destination or a there that you're reaching for. You just strive for excellence, not perfection. Progression over perfection. You know what I mean? You want to progress. You want to just excellence is striving to excel, to become, excellent in every way. Just getting a little bit better every day. That's the notion. So you just wanna. It just comes with expansion. You need to expand. It just comes with expansion and growing and just multiplying.
The puff up.
So, you know what I mean?
Yes, the puff up.
Right on.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
John
you.
Baptist, for coming to have a sip with the witch.
Thank you.
We appreciate you greatly, and we'll be looking for you soon. We will tag everything, and we will be in touch.
All right.
I am sure. Thank you.
All right, your mom, good.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Huh? What do you mean? I just talked to her.
Max out on your stuff then.
I can't get it together. I'm too tired.
I just had a load of information from you on
Oh.
the importance of staying calm and in sync. It was a waterfall information. I was like, all right. No, and I struggle with anger.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a lot better now.
That's good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.